And welcome to Monday, except it's Tuesday.
It's Tuesday.
Yeah, but here we are. We're live from Agile Learning Labs World Headquarters, beautiful San Mateo, California. I've got Llewellyn Falco with me.
Hello.
World-renowned technical coach. And today the two of us are going to be talking about the value of Slack, and why that might be a good thing, why it might be important. Not the tool Slack, not the electronic thing.
No, although I like the tool as well.
Yeah. Now, the thing is, we've only got 10 minutes here, right? We try to do these in 10 minutes. So what I've done, Llewellyn, is I've created this schedule that will help us keep on track. I've got it mapped out kind of minute by minute. Noon to 12:01, we're going to do intros.
So let me, you travel a lot, right?
Yeah.
So I have
the intro,
it's a little bit of the intro.
Okay.
I have a trip coming up to Barcelona.
Oh.
I know that Barcelona is fabulous. I also know there's a lot of pickpockets.
Oh.
So I thought,
did they pronounce it like Barcelona?
Barcelona?
I think maybe.
Barcelona.
Yeah.
Barcelona.
Yeah.
With the soft T.
Yeah.
So I figured out exactly how much this trip is going to cost me, both the hotel and the eating. And I thought I'd leave my credit cards at home so I don't have to worry about them getting stolen.
Oh, that's brilliant.
I budgeted everything out. It's going to be exactly $4,294. I was just going to bring the cash and take the trip that way, so I had no risk of having something go stolen. You travel a lot. Is that a good idea?
You know what's good about that?
Yeah.
Is you can create a schedule like this about exactly when you're going to spend, like minute to minute each dollar. I think that.
So is that your suggestion on how to take a trip? Would that work out well for you?
I don't think I'd do it that way.
Why not?
I don't think I'd do it that way because, personally, I've never been to Barcelona.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know what I'm going to discover when I get there. And I have to say, like when I travel, even if I do research ahead of time and, I want to see this, I want to see that, never fails when I get there. I discover like some even cooler things that I want to do.
Well, hold on. So I've also been thinking about going camping.
Oh.
It's me and this other guy. We're going to take a huge trip into Alaska. It's a 10-day trip. Okay. So we want to take is just what we need. Yeah. And I calculated we need 2,000 calories a day. So 10 days, that's 20,000 plus 2 of us, 40,000. So I'm bringing exactly 40,000 calories. I figure that is the perfect way to do the trip.
So what if something goes wrong? What if you're like stuck out there, like there's a blizzard or something like that, and you have to survive longer? Or what if you meet somebody, right? Like what if you're out there and you come across somebody who's like a distressed camper or something like that?
It's not a good way to take the trip, not a good way to take the hike.
Yeah.
Why do you think that perfectly budgeting our time is a good way to spend our time?
Oh, I hadn't thought of it. I thought we could just like plan it out all in advance, and then we'd like be really very efficient, because we could like stick right to the schedule, and we deliver exactly the value that we originally intended to deliver.
Yeah, I think we know with money it's good to have a buffer.
Oh yeah.
We know with food it's good to have a buffer.
Yeah.
Somehow with time, we don't seem to think a buffer, like we're just too busy for that.
Yeah. Yeah, because I got to tell you, back when I was, manager, director guy back in, my corporate life, boy, you should have seen my schedule, right?
Lots of meetings?
Meetings back to back to back to back to back.
Yeah.
I was really busy.
And a lot of times that feels like it's not even your choice.
Yeah. If there was an empty hole in my calendar, somebody would book a meeting.
Did they book your lunches as well?
Yeah, very frequently they did, yeah.
I feel like that's one of the advices I have to give to Agile coaches a lot is protect other people's lunches. First by demonstration, like don't book meetings yourself, but also actively protect, because if you don't, who will?
Yeah, I'll buy that. And so, so Slack with money, Slack with planning food for a trip, maybe even Slack with time is a good idea.
Well, when you were upset about those ideas, you seem to say, what if something goes wrong? But with Barcelona, you sort of said, what if something goes right? What if there's something, wonderful that I didn't plan for?
Yeah.
Have you had that happen with time as well?
I mean, definitely. I've had situations where, we get an opportunity to do something that we hadn't thought of, but it actually was way more valuable than the thing we were planning on doing.
I have that happen in conferences actually quite a lot, where somehow I end up in a hallway and just an amazing, like missing a session that I wanted to go and see.
It was in your plan.
It was in my plan, but the conversation that I'm having is even better. And it actually took me a while to realize that I shouldn't stop a wonderful conversation. Like, there's lots of conversations that you're just looking for an excuse. Like, oh, look at the time. But
wait, you said that to me in the hallway at conferences.
Oops. Secrets are getting out. But when you're in a great conversation, it doesn't matter how good the other thing is. Like, be aware that great things don't happen that often, right? Even like how many shows, like I've been looking forward to Game of Thrones all season. I was slightly disappointed in the way it ended. But like very often,
really? Because I haven't heard that a lot from my friends who watch Bring the.
Everyone's been happy?
Yeah, everyone just seems like totally satisfied.
Maybe they needed a little extra time in their budget to figure out how to. That's. I really like Harry Potter, and one of the things I've been really happy. I remember waiting for the books to come out, and I'm really happy that she took the time that's needed so that I love the books that came out. I'd much rather take more time for something I love than hit a budget on something that I don't like.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things about scheduling everything, like no slack time in your schedule at all, is the best you can do. Like if everything goes perfectly, the best that you can do is what you plan for. Yeah, and
that just assumes that the things we don't know are either not important or not very many.
Yeah,
unfortunately, there's so much I don't know.
Well, and bringing it back to like product development, Scrum.
So much I don't know.
When we make a plan for a product that we're going to build, we have some ideas. We think this would be valuable, and inevitably, as we're developing the product, we discover new opportunities. We have a customer come to us and say, "Oh my goodness, if you would add this feature, we're going to buy 300 more seats of your product," or something like that.
Sitting with a team, and we just started mobbing, and one of the things about mobbing is it's kind of interactive and engaging. And so the graphic artist was like, "Hey, can I come and join?" And he wasn't a programmer, but he just sort of was like, "Everyone else is having fun. I want to have fun too." Mm-hmm. And so he joined us, and we put one of the images into the HTML. And the moment he said that, he's like, "That's not the right size." And the programmer was like, "Oh, no problem." And he just resized the image in HTML. We can barely dress ourselves, right? So like we had no problem with that, but the designer was like, that looks horrible. And they're like, "No, but that's the one we have." And he like whips out his laptop, which had Photoshop on it. Ours didn't even have Photoshop, much less us understanding how to use Photoshop. Yeah. Resizes it there so it looks nice and sends it to us. And I remember sort of when we were retrospecting saying, if he wasn't there with us, if we didn't have that opportunity to make that space, the conversation would have gone to, well, that's what the JIRA said, instead of this is what we want.
And this is a better outcome. Yeah.
You need that space, you need that opportunity to allow that to grow.
Yeah, I like that. Somebody that I admire very much, fellow Scrum trainer, whose name I always butcher, so forgive me, Henrik Nyberg. He gave a great talk back in 2014 about the value of Slack. And I think he's given variations of that talk more recently as well. And he did a really interesting experiment where he had this experience that I talked about earlier of like being really, really busy, but not feeling satisfied that he was like getting a lot done. Like he had all these great ideas.
Super busy and nothing accomplished.
Yeah.
I get that feeling a lot.
And so he did an experiment where one day a week, he just blocked out that whole day as Slack time. Yeah. It wasn't that he wasn't going to be working that day. It was that he would not allow anything to be scheduled into that time ahead of time.
Yeah.
Right. And this is hard to do, right? Because if you block out time, it's really easy for us to go, oh, that day that I've got time blocked out.
It seems easier if it's on the calendar.
Yeah. So he did that. He did that for a while, 6 months, a year, something like that. And he found that actually in terms of value creation over the course of that time, he did way better.
Yeah.
He did some cool things, like he created this video about like Agile from the product owner's perspective. And then later on, he did a couple of great videos about the engineering culture where he was working.
And I think there's two parts of that. One, your mistakes are less costly.
Yeah.
And so often, especially in the software world, mistakes are way disproportionately costly,
Mm-hmm.
right? Where it's like, I can write, thousands of lines of code, and then the one line that's a bug is going to take an entire week out of my day, or out of my week, out of my month.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is, you get to take advantage of these opportunities that you just wouldn't if you didn't have that chance.
Yeah, if you didn't have the space in your schedule to pursue it.
Yeah, like
Right,
one of the variations of Slack that we actually did the other day is a lot of times when I go out to food with people, we'll order lots of dishes, and then we can share the dishes, right? And that gives it's like Slack in your ordering, right? Like I can order the thing I want, but I still have the space to experiment with the other dishes.
Which you might find that you like better.
And often find that I like that.
I often have that. I often have like dish envy when the person across the table from me at dinner orders the other thing. I'm like,
Now I try a little bit of that.
I wish I would order that.
Yeah.
So, wow, 12 minutes went by like nothing.
It goes like that.
So I would like to pull in the last minute though of my schedule.
Yeah.
So my last minute was an opportunity for closing thoughts, and we never actually did a full intro. So can you give me like 30 seconds? Who the heck are you that I've been talking with here? And
I'm an
learn
Agile
more?
technical coach. I'm like Chris, but we attack the similar problems from very different approaches. Chris you sit with the decision makers, you sit with product owners, you work on the way they do stuff, but more from an abstract level.
Yeah.
I am sitting with the programmers, hands-on keyboard programming, and helping them to understand how to work with their legacy code, how to write unit tests, how to start moving towards more automated DevOps processes. We're doing it little by little, sitting together and programming together. I usually work with clients in sort of 2-week segments, sitting with their teams.
So if I'm watching this video right now and I'm thinking, wow, we've got this gnarly, huge pile of legacy code that it totally sucks and it's slowing us down. Like, you would be a good person to reach out to, right?
That would be right in my wheelhouse.
So,
and actually, the best way to do it is contact you and ask them to set up, a couple hours to come in and do a sample coding together.
Awesome. So reach out to info@Agile Learning Labs. We'll connect you with Luella. And then I always finish with like a little promo of like what's going on in Agile Learning Labs world. So today's Tuesday. And if you're wondering what to do with your Wednesday and Thursday this week, well, come on out to our Advanced Certified Scrum Product Owner Workshop. There's room for a couple more people in that one.
This is an open...
This is an open public class.
Which city is it in?
It's in Redwood City.
Nice.
Now, people do need to already hold their CSPO, their Certified Scrum Product Owner, in order to...
It's like the base requirements.
Yeah. Next week, I'm doing... public classes in Redwood City, a certified Scrum Master and a certified Scrum Product Owner. And we tend to do one of each of those every month in Redwood City. And also we tend to do a certified Scrum Master with Kathy Simpson every month up in San Francisco. Occasionally I go up there, occasionally she comes down here. But, as always, check out agilelearninglabs.com for all the good details on that. Also, if you think you might want to get to know Llewellyn better, thank you very much for hanging out with us.
Yeah.
See you next time when I will be talking about, see, I'm looking at the computer here to see what I'm going to be talking about, defects and the definition of done. So, Llewellyn, thanks.
Thanks, guys.